guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I am going to talk about books that I have not read yet, because honestly I have not been reading, guys. I have not been reading for like the past year and a half. I have been struggling with my reading a lot, which, as you may have noticed, is one of the reasons why my content has just kind of, I don't upload as much as I would like to, because when you are a booktube channel and you don't read, what are you supposed to make videos about? So I am really trying to change that, because honestly I really miss being part of the community. I have kind of been lurking. I'm always constantly on Twitter and I do watch other people's channels, so I'm not definitely out of the community per se, but I'm not as involved as I used to be and as I would like to be, because you know, when I used to be involved, I always wanted to do more and like talk to more people and do more things, and that hasn't gotten better, it has only gotten worse. Today I really wanted to film a video because, again, like I said, I miss filming. I miss doing this on a regular basis. I really miss it, and I really want to start doing it again properly. But I was really struggling with coming up with something to talk about because, you know, the not reading thing. So I figured, you know what, since I am not reading, let's talk about that. Let's talk about books that I am not reading. Why not talk about the books that I own that are super incredibly hyped and that everybody seems to love except for me, because I have not read them yet. And maybe some of you have yet to read them as well, and then we could all feel better about this together. First book that I have here is one that I am currently reading, actually. I haven't gotten very far into it though. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I love Victoria's writing. One of my favorite books is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. It is such a good book. It's like a dark, twisted X-Men kind of story. If you are a fan of dark and twisted, morally gray characters, that book is such a good book, and it's actually getting a sequel and I am incredibly excited. I got my hands on this because I found it at my favorite used bookstore, but I have yet to read it. The third book finally came out. Actually, Victoria Schwab came to a city near me last month and I was not able to go. And I'm still very sad about that because I really wanted to meet her. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I actually, by the way, got this signed. I met Leigh Bardugo at an event for the release of Crooked Kingdom. I sat right at the front. I was like right there. I pre-ordered Crooked Kingdom to go to that event and I was so incredibly excited. And then I haven't read it yet. Not only have I not even read Six of Crows yet, I haven't even finished the Grisha trilogy. I only read the first book in the Grisha trilogy. Yeah, that's my shame that I have not finished this. I think this may be the book that I see the most fan art for online, that every time I see it, it just reminds me, it gives me that like stab in the heart where it's like, you really need to read this. Why are you not reading this? You need to read this. I think one of the reasons why I did put it off for so long was because I did really want to finish the Grisha trilogy first, but to be honest, I just don't care anymore. I might just end up reading this first and then going back to the Grisha trilogy. This one might not come as a surprise for a lot of you. Where is it? Cassandra Clare. This is the only Cassandra Clare book that I've read. I have tried to read City of Ashes on multiple occasions. I've just given up on it now, to be honest. Like, the only reason I have not gotten rid of this series is because I still really want to read The Infernal Devices. I'm keeping this just in case I maybe want to give this another shot. But if not, then I'm just gonna get rid of them. See, this is the thing. I really wish that I had gotten into the Mortal Instruments a lot sooner in my life, because I feel like if I had read this when I was younger, I would feel very differently towards this, because this has everything that I would generally love in a series, but I just don't. We'll see where this goes. You may see this in an unhaul in the future. Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is a series that I really want to get into, but the one thing that has always stopped me from this series is the length. All of these books are massive. It's just so big and so intimidating, and especially right now because I haven't been reading much, like jumping into a series like this is just impossible. So I know that this is not a series that I'm gonna get into anytime soon, but I really want to, because I really want to watch the TV show. I've been holding off on the TV show until I read the series. I'm still not giving up on it. in the long term. In the short term, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna read this anytime soon, but I still want to read it in the future. I saved, I think, maybe the most controversial book for last, because I have a lot of feelings about this series. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is the novella bind-up. The reason why this may come as a shock is because I have talked so much about Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. Those books are my everything, particularly Crown of Midnight. I really, really, really love Crown of Midnight. I love Cale as a character. I've loved him since the first book. And you would think that because I love those two books so much that I would have read the rest of the series, but you'd be wrong. So currently I have these 4 books, which is the novella bind-up, book number 3, 4, and 5. I have not read any of these. Well, I started reading the novella. I don't know when I'm gonna catch up on this series, to be honest, because I have heard so many things. I have just heard so many things about the progression of this series that it has made me really hesitant about continuing it. Honestly, the reason why I have been holding off on talking about the series for so long is because I have not read the books yet. I trust a lot of people's opinions when it comes to the series, based on a lot of things that I've heard, but I still do want to read it to make up my own mind about certain things. I'm just really scared, guys, to keep reading this because I love the first 2 books of the series so much, particularly Crown of Midnight. And just based on what I have heard, not even just the issues of like diversity and so many other issues, to be honest, just the way the story seems to be progressing is something that I'm not a fan of. I don't like when characters are treated as disposable. And I fear that that is what Sarah J. Maas tends to do with a lot of her characters with this series and with ACOTAR. I've also been putting off the second book in that series for the same reason as I've been putting this off. Are any of you guys in the same boat as I am, where like you genuinely really love the first 2 books in the series but are just terrified of continuing on because of so many reasons? Like, Cale isn't even in the 5th book. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Like, there may come a time when I just pretend that the first 2 books are everything that there is in the series and just not move on with the rest of them. Oh, and by the way, one thing that makes this sadder for me is that I actually met Sarah J. Maas at an event, and I really like her as a person, but I am not a fan of what she is doing with her series. We'll see how I feel about those when I get around to reading them. It might take a while, to be honest, because like I said, I'm terrified to continue on with the series because I have such fond memories of the first 2. Those are the super hyped and generally loved books that I have in my collection that I have not gotten around to yet for one reason or another. Please let me know if you feel the same way about any of these books that I have here. Like I said, I'm hoping that this will be a way for us to kind of bond and feel better about the fact that we just are apparently the last people on earth to have read these books, maybe. So that is going to be it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys!